Some of you might be aware I've already reviewed this keyboard, but this one, it's got a brand new switch. Good afternoon and welcome to Turbo Tortoise Tech. We decided to throw this at your faces just because of this new switch, but I'm going to go through the whole keyboard and the function set and everything that you get with the Vulcan, because I've already done the 1-to-1, which is basically this but in black. So now we've gotten the 1-to-2 in white, but it has come with a new TITAN switch, which has a mid-point activation and a tactile feedback while being silent. It's actually quite impressive and quite unique in a lot of facets. But let's start off from the top with the base keyboard and what you get out of the box. So, wrist rest, magnetically attached, nice little Roccat logo in the bottom right over here, very subtle, very difficult to see in the naked eye on camera, let me tell you. And then rubberizing on the bottom of that, and then, like I say, it just attaches over there. So there's no clips or anything to break, which is really, really nice. I much prefer magnetic to anything that has clips, because once those clips break, then it never sits quite right again. Flat deck keyboard, the opposite of what I would call pudding keycaps. These are very slim, very fine keycaps. They're not like, they don't stand out very far, do they? And all of your travel and bump is then dictated by the switch, which is what gives it that very, very unique feel, and makes it also quiet because the switch never hits the flat deck of the keyboard at the back. Default set of function keys across the keyboard, and then at the top right you have an audio mute, an FX switch button, so that switches you between the dial acting on the RGB and the dial acting on the audio, and then the audio button to change it then back to the audio. And probably the most satisfying dial ever put on a keyboard. Then, because that's there, they've had to move the notification center, or the area for your caps lock and num lock and scroll lock, etc., to the bottom right hand side of the keyboard. The keyboard does have a gaming mode which switches it between different profiles, and there is easy shift, once again from Roccat. Pretty much one of their best features, honestly, because every single key with the press of this shift then turns into another full set of keys, as it were, without it being just a capitalization. You can change actually what the shift function does for each key, which is really nice for macro users. Software is still Roccat Swarm. I haven't updated to the new software yet. The only thing I've seen on there so far has been their headphones, one of their headphone, like more advanced headphone sets, and it was literally just for colors and stuff. It is quite nice looking, the new software, but the old software's functionality is some of the best I've ever used. Rubberizing then on the bottom of the keyboard so that it doesn't move around the table at random. Even the wrist rest has rubberizing, and even the kickstands then have their own set of rubberizing put on them to make sure that it doesn't go anywhere when it's sitting on your table. Lighting is per key, RGB LED. Obviously at 3,000 Rand, you'd expect that, right? And I have to say, AIMO just makes the prettiest and best looking of the RGB colors. It flows and ebbs and moves around in a very, very nice and warm and comforting way. It feels very, very natural. So now, what about this new switch? Well, it's kind of interesting, right? It's got a 1.8mm activation point and then a 3.6, and it is based off of their previous work with TTC, but this time it's a more custom switch, and it definitely feels like that. The performance of it is very good. Once you get into game and you start playing and stuff, it's great. Typing is also great, and audio is quite unique, right? It's got like a different kind of sound and punch to it than some of the other keyboards. And the way that it feels is it's quite firm initially. I was a Cherry MX Black user, and I really, really liked those switches. They had like 95 gram actuation force. I was a big fan of that, because when you're spamming and when you're talking about how fast the key actually comes back from its travel, that actuation force actually obviously speeds up because it's got more pressure pushing upwards. So you can actually get in a few more spams, and that's really good for things like MOBA and RTS. I'm not a big fan of tactile switches, but if I was going to suggest a tactile switch to anybody, this is the one I would suggest. This has been the best tactile, like merged feeling that I've ever felt. Just to give you an idea, the actuation force is there and you can actually feel it. It like slips in and out of like a little groove that's over there, like a magnetic kind of thing. And then it travels down into the key. And if you press it just past that point, you'll hear there's almost no audio from it. It doesn't give a click like a blue switch would. It's another great product from Roccat. Since they've been bought over by Turtle Beach, their product quality and everything has just gone to another level. And this is just more evidence to that end. And I really like that they're making unique products that aren't really like anybody else's, because then it's always going to be good, right? Because it always finds its own niche. Anyway, that is all I have for you in this review. If you have enjoyed it, please hit us up with the like and subscribe, and I will see you on the flip side.